we are going to work on some reading. All right. Gabe, you can start us off. Halted, which means stopped. Overshadowed. Fir trees and yew trees. I'm just going to read this. No, said the dwarf, it is no use now, O queen. They must have reached the stone table by now. Perhaps the wolf will smell us out and bring us news, said the witch. It cannot be good news if he does, said the dwarf. 4 thrones, said the witch. How if only 3 were filled? That would not fulfill the prophecy. What is a prophecy? That would not fulfill the prophecy. Jonathan. Louder. Yes. Now, when we read in the Bible about Jesus, there were prophecies made in the Old Testament about the Son of God coming and renewing and saving us. It was discussed way in the Old Testament. So a prophecy is something that foretells the future. Something important is going to happen. So the prophecy is something about humans sitting on the throne. And we are kind of under the conclusion that those 4 humans are who? Emmy.
Edmund, Lucy, Peter, and
That is correct. And the witch just said, well, the prophecy cannot happen with only 3. What does that mean? The prophecy cannot happen. There are 4 thrones. And she just said the prophecy cannot be fulfilled with only 3. Who are the 3 and who is the one that she is referring to? The 3 are whom? Tyson.
Peter, the High King, and the others.
Yes, who are Susan and Lucy. They are the ones with who? Who is Susan, Lucy, and Peter with? Ella. Yes. So basically the witch is saying what? The prophecy cannot be fulfilled because she has who? Who does she have in order to prevent the prophecy from occurring? Grayson. Edmund. So that doesn't bode well for Edmund. She's saying basically, I'm going to keep him so the prophecy cannot be fulfilled. We don't know exactly what happens when the 4 sit on the thrones, but obviously is it making the witch nervous? Yes, very much so. All right, let's read on. McKenna, you may read from what difference would that make to, said the witch scornfully.
What difference does that make now that he is here? Said the dwarf. He did not dare even now
To mention
the name of Azon to his
mistress, meaning his basically his boss or the person he works for.
He may not stay long. And then he would fall upon the tree at the
At care.
Yet it might be better for the dwarf to keep the thing. Here he picked Edmund for
Bargaining.
bargaining with. Yet, and have him rescue the witch,
Said the witch
said the witch,
scornfully.
for
Yeah, so basically what is the dwarf saying? That we're going to use Edmund as a what? M.
I forgot.
For bargaining. What does that mean? Yet it might be better, said the dwarf, to keep this one. Here he kicked Edmund for bargaining with. Who is he going to bargain with? Who do you think they are referring to when they're talking about bargaining with Edmund? How many thrones are there? Say it out loud. 4. Aslan has 3. The witch has 1. What does it mean to bargain? Tyson.
To trade without any money.
To trade. Well, that's barter, but bargaining is similar. You're absolutely right. So what do you think that means? We can bargain Edmund with whom? Who are they going to bargain with? James. Yes. One key component is missing for the prophecy to be fulfilled, and that is Edmund. So do they have some power? Do they have a little control? Yes. So keep that in mind. Edmund is now becoming a bargain chip, basically, for the witch. What do you suppose she would want? Any guesses? What could the witch want out of this whole scenario? Helen. Aslan. Good guess. What do you think, James? Power. Very good. Olivia.
I have a comment.
Okay.
Usually in a movie when
Don't say anything about you're not going to talk about this movie. Okay. Don't give anything away. All right. Go ahead.
like usually in a movie like if a bad guy and a good guy trade, usually the bad guy says you should go first to give them it first, and then the bad guy would run away.
Oh, so you're thinking that maybe the witch will run away. Good guess. I like all your thoughts. This is called guessing. So the queen is feeling, do you think she's feeling confident, or do you think she's feeling a little insecure about the situation? What do you think? Who thinks she's feeling confident? Who thinks she's feeling a little insecure or uncomfortable? Yes, her arch nemesis, which is what? What is a nemesis? James.
Aslan is the nemesis.
Yes. To whom? The witch. Yes. Because he is preventing her from what?
Making it snow.
Making it snow. What is happening to her power? The closer Aslan gets, does she gain power or does she lose power? She does. That's an important thing for us to understand. The closer Aslan gets to the witch, her power is depleting. Spring has sprung. Santa has arrived, or St. Nicholas, or Father Christmas. All these things are occurring because Aslan is now in Narnia. So I think the White Witch is most definitely feeling a little unsure of what is happening or what her future holds. But she does have Edmund. All right, Jonathan. You are going to read where it says, "Then," said the dwarf, and you can end where it says, "True," said the witch. And then, well, I will begin. Louder, please.
I would like to have learning on the stone table itself. than before. It will be a long time now before the stone table can be put into the proper use, said the Lord. True, said the Lord, and then well, I will begin.
She wants to do something at the stone table. We don't know what that means as of yet. But are you all getting the feeling that the stone table has a significant purpose? Yes. We don't know, but it has been mentioned several times in the book so far. Yes.
I think the stone table might be something about power or something.
Maybe. I think that is a really good thought. Does anyone else have any thoughts on what they think the stone table is? If you know from reading it, please don't say. So I think power, there's a lot of power playing going on. A lot of, well, who is trying to grasp power? Ella. Yes. And the more she loses it, the more desperate she gets. Keep that in mind too. Go ahead, Jeremiah. When people want power and they start losing it and it starts slipping away, they get desperate and start doing desperate things. And oftentimes, not good things. So file that away. The queen, or she's not a queen, the witch is desperate. She is losing her power. Everything that she has worked towards is slipping away. All right, let's keep that in mind as we proceed forward. Boy is not here. Jack, you can read finish up the page 135 and end where the last pair are the sentence here as speedily as they can on page 136.
I have seen.
No, at that moment. With a rush and a snarl. Ooh. On page 135, the very bottom.
Oh, no, said which there need be no flying. Go quickly.
Wait, where are you, my friend? We are on 135. So at that moment, Russian snarl, and then you can end right there. Okay? There you go.
At that moment, with a rush and a snarl, a wolf rushed up to them. I have seen them.
At that moment. Oh yeah, I have seen them. I'm sorry. I have seen them.
They are all at the stone table with him. They have killed my captain.
Malgrim. So it was Malgrim that Peter killed. All right, we were wondering about that. All right, go ahead, Jack.
I was hidden in the thickest and saw it all. One of the sons of Adam killed him. Fly, fly. No, said the witch. There need be no flying. Go quickly.
Summon, meaning let everyone know.
Summon all our people to meet me here as swiftly as they can.
Okay, I'm going to read this because there's a lot of strange words that you're going to. So these are all the creatures that are getting summoned by the witch. And as you're going to tell, they don't sound like a fun group. Call out the giants and the werewolves and the spirits of those trees who are on our side. Call the ghouls and the bogles and the ogres and the minotaurs. Call the cruels and the hags and the specters and the people of the toadstools. We will fight. What? Have I not my wand? Will not their ranks turn into stone even as they come on? Be off quickly. I have a little thing to finish here while you are away. The great brute, meaning a brute. What is a brute? When you hear the word brute, what do you think of? Someone nice and kind, or someone the exact opposite? Ella. Yeah. When I think of a brute, I think of someone who is big and mean. So the great brute bowed its head, turned, and galloped away. What are you getting a sense of what's happening? She's starting to gather what? Owen. Yes. Yes. So we saw earlier what Susan and Lucy and Peter were given. We talked about those were all articles for what? For play and fun or for war? For fighting? Jonathan? For battle. All right, so it's brewing, it's growing, and things are happening quickly. Christian, you may read that next paragraph, starting at now, she said, and then you may end under the dark trees.
Okay. Now, he said, we have, okay, look, let me see. Now, we have better put it against the trunk of the tree. And he found himself in roughly 4 to 8 feet. Then the grass
The
set
dwarf.
and the dwarf set him with his back against the tree and
bound him.
and back.
What does it mean to bound? What does it mean when it says, the dwarf set him with his back against a tree and bound him fast? What does that mean? What does it mean to bound someone? Tyson?
To like tie them really fast.
To tie them. So basically, Edmund has now been tied to a tree. His arms behind him, tied up. Okay, go ahead.
He saw the would take off her outer mantle. Her arms were bare underneath it, and
Terribly.
terribly white. But they were so very white he could see them, but he could not see much of. It was so dark in the valley under the dark trees.
All right, so where they are at is like basically a forest full of trees, so it's dark. Who's ever walked in the woods? Like thick woods. The sun can't really get through the trees, can they? So that's where they are. He is bound. What can he see? Because they're so white. They almost, it sounds like they almost are radiating because they're so white. McKenna. Yeah. She is so white, that is all Edmund can see in the dark woods. I think she needs to go on vacation and get some sun. So basically her skin is as white as you can picture it. You have a white sheet of paper. I mean, if you go grab, Olivia, go hold up one of those white sheets of paper, plain white paper. That is how white, and probably even whiter, the white witch's skin is. Yuck. You need to go to the beach.
Yeah, I read that.
All right, Tessa, finish up page 136, please.
The parents would get said the witch, and the dwarf undid Edmund's collar and folded back his shirt after that. Then he took Edmund's hair and pulled his head back so that he had to raise his chin. After that, Edmund heard a strange noise. Whiz, whiz, whiz. For a moment, he couldn't think what it was. Then he realized it was the sound of a knife being sharpened.
Dun, dun, dun.
Okay, so this is not sounding good. Prepare the victim. And so there is a knife being sharpened, and Edmund's head has been yanked back, so his neck is exposed. Does that sound good to you?
No.
So I am perplexed. Here I thought Edmund was a bargaining tool. Is he going to be a good bargaining tool if he's not alive? No. Not at all. So let's read on and see what they do. But it doesn't sound all that great for Edmund, I must say. I'm a little nervous for him. All right, so on page 137, James, you can read from under that picture to let him lie, or you'll be all right in a minute.
At that very moment, he heard loud
Shouts.
shouts from every direction. A drumming of hooves and a beating of wings, a scream from the witches. Confusion all around him. And then he found he was being untied. Strong arms were round him, and he heard big kind voices saying things like, "Let him lie down, give him some water, drink this, everyone. You'll be all right in a minute."
What just happened? Before we read on, does anyone have any idea or guesses? If you have read the book, please don't share. If you have not read the book, what happened? He was just about, his neck was exposed, they were sharpening a knife. Prepare the victim, is what the witch yelled. And all of a sudden, something happened. What happened? Olivia.
On the picture, it looks like a bunch of Pegasus came and saved Edmund.
So you think someone saved Edmund? Who thinks that Edmund has been saved? Yes. Who do you think it is? Anybody have a guess? Who thinks saved him? Helen. Lucy? But who is Lucy with? Luke. Let's find out. The book is getting really good. So, 1 minute he's being prepared to what seemed like that he was going to be killed. Now he's being saved. Let's find out what is going on. Sam,
Yep.
read the last paragraph from "Then he heard the voice" to "Edmund went off in a dead faint." Oh dear.
Uh-oh.
A lot of fainting going on.
Then he heard the voices of the people who are not talking.
Who were not talking.
Who are not talking to him, but to one another. And they were saying things like, "Who's got the witch?
I thought you.
I thought you had her. I didn't see her after I knocked the knife out of her hand. I was after the door. Do you mean to say she's expelled?
Oh, escaped.
Escaped? A chap can't mind everything at once. What's that? Oh, sorry. It's only an old stump. But just at this point, Edmund went off in a dead faint.
Who do they lose? Who escaped? Dun dun dun, the plot thickens. Who escaped? Wenchine. Yes. So someone who is talking knocked the knife out of the witch's hand before she could harm Edmund, and then she got away. Darn. She's out running around, creating problems. Olivia, you may read, so that last sentence on page 137, until the bottom of the paragraph, they might have been surprised.
Presently, the creature,
The centaurs.
the
Remember the centaurs are half man and half horse.
the centaurs and unicorns and deer and birds, and they were of course the rescue party which Aslan had sent in the last chapter, and all set off
remarkably like a little fat man couching on the ground. That's an interesting statement.
It was perfectly still, and presently the moon grew bright. If you had been there, you would have seen the moonlight shining on an old tree stump and on a fair-sized boulder.
Which is a huge rock.
But if you had gone on looking, you would gradually have begun to think there was something odd about both the stump and the boulder. And next you would have thought that the stump did look like a remarkable, like a little fat man crouching on the ground.
Oh my, interesting. Ella, read the rest of that paragraph, please.
And if you had long enough, you would have seen the stump walking over to the boulder, and the boulder stuck in something new.
Louder, please.
For in reality, the stump and the boulder were simply the witch and the wind, for it was part of the sun that could make things look like what they are. He had the best of mind to do so at the very moment when the knife was knocked out of her hand. She had kept pulling her wand so that it kept safe too.
All right, Luke, you can bring a straw up. I don't know what on earth you're doing.
Mr. June came in. It wasn't him.
It wasn't him.
Mr. June came in.
His sister had his lunch and so I had to take it out.
Oh, I just thought you randomly stood up and started playing with your lunch. I'm like, what is happening? All right, please don't bring your straw. Okay. All right, so the witch and the dwarf look like boulders or a little old man crouching because she used magic to camouflage herself. So that's how she escaped. They didn't see her. She was right there, and the dwarf was right there, but she camouflaged herself by using magic.
Stone names make me think of them.
Yeah, so when the other children woke up the next morning, they had been sleeping on piles of cushions in the pavilion. The first thing they heard from Mrs. Beaver was that their brother had been rescued and brought into camp last night, and was at that moment with Aslan. And that is where we're going to leave off. I'm going to mark that. I don't have a pencil, so I'm going to grab a pencil. So things are getting very exciting.